I literally thought our whole trailer was like just swept right off the ground.
A first alert this hour on Action 2 News this morning. A state of emergency in Michigan. Deadly storms ripping down trees and flooding streets. What we know about the damage so far.
From WBAY TV, your first alert station. Action 2 News this morning starts now.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. We have a lot to get to this Friday. We begin with that first alert from Michigan. Right now, utility workers are restoring power to hundreds of thousands of people after deadly storms. Look at the video here. Severe storms causing deadly crashes. 4 people are dead in central and western Michigan, including a mother and her 2 young kids. They lost control of their vehicle in the rain, and the damage you're seeing is caused by strong winds. And the National Weather Service says 2 tornadoes may have swept through parts of Michigan.
I heard this big gust of wind, and me and her son ran to the closet because we were taking cover.
You're not going to be able to tell you much.
I literally thought our whole trailer was like just swept right off the ground.
So scary, and those trees you're seeing uprooted from the ground. Some roofs collapsed. Governor Gretchen Whitmer declaring a state of emergency to provide support for those areas impacted by flooding. We're just getting the first details about a military jet crash near a base in San Diego. Authorities say that crash happened near Marine Corps Air Station Miramar early this morning. We don't yet know the cause of the crash or the condition of the pilot. A defense official confirms the FA-18 Hornet crashed during a training flight. It's time to get your first alert forecast from Steve in the First Alert Weather Center. Good morning.
Good morning, Tammy. Well, we've got overcast skies across a good chunk of the area. You could see the gloomy clouds over top of Manitowoc. It's not hot. It's 65 degrees, but it's sticky. You can feel the humidity. The dew point is sitting at 62, and with calm air, there's really no breeze to kind of give us a refreshing change. So here's our satellite and radar combo. We do have some clouds across the state, a few showers in the north woods, although most of the rain is heading towards southern Wisconsin. We're kind of caught in between and dry for the time being. Temperatures are in the 60s north, but once you go southwest of Green Bay, we're in the low 70s with 71 in Shawano, Wapaka, and in Oshkosh. And these are our dew points. They're in the humid 60s. There's definitely air you can wear out there. Later today, First Alert Pinpoint Predictor shows highs away from the lake, mainly getting into the low 80s, but by the water, highs will be mostly in the mid 70s. We'll see a good chunk of the day in the 70s today, highs briefly getting into the low 80s. Clouds giving way to some sun and a chance of storms coming up in less than 7 minutes. We'll show you First Alert Viper Max and talk about that storm threat. Over to you, Catherine.
All right, Steve, thanks. First Alert traffic as we look live at our First Alert DOT traffic camera network. Grand Chute here, 41 at 125, which you know better as College Avenue. So with the temperatures down, you may be thinking about windows open, but you might want to close them again today. Steve's talking about it's going to be muggy. Turn on that air conditioning for your drive. Coming up at 6:15, I'm going to let you know what's happening just east of this camera that could affect your drive starting Monday morning.
Thank you. News we're covering for you today. A woman accused of shooting a police officer in Oconto Falls will be in court in just about 6 hours. Prosecutors say 31-year-old Alicia Koken shot Officer Nicole Bleskowski in the head 2 years ago. Bleskowski survived. In February, Koken entered a not guilty by mental disease or defect plea. She'll be in Oconto County Court this afternoon. We'll be first to alert you to what happens. A warning to check your freezer this morning. Aisha's at the First Alert safety desk. There's an important recall on frozen veggies.
Yeah, Tammy, I'm just hearing about this morning, and we want to let you all at home know right away because it could make you or your family sick. We want to show you these photos as I chat about this. If you shop at Pick and Save or Metro Market and buy these, this is something you'll want to know. The FDA is urging you to throw them away or return them to the store. The company that makes these frozen veggies says they could be contaminated with listeria, so they issued this voluntary recall. They're the Kroger, Food Line, or Signature Select brands. Some of the products being recalled include what you're seeing here, super sweet corn, also mixed vegetables. The good news is no one has gotten sick yet. A full list of the specific dates and products being recalled can be found on the FDA's website, but we have put this on our First Alert website, WBAY.com, to make it easy for you at home, and you don't want to take the chance because CDC says listeria can cause severe sickness, especially if you're pregnant, older than 65, or you have a weakened immune system. Tammy.
Aisha, thank you. The official start to football season almost here. That means a long-standing tradition is happening today at Lambeau Field. That's where we have Kristen Allen joining us live to preview the Packers Welcome Back luncheon. We know the guys have a lot of fun with this, Kristen.
Good morning. Well, there's a couple of really unique things about this luncheon that's happening in just a couple of hours from now. It's here in the Lambeau Field in the atrium right here behind me. And one of those things is that this has been happening for more than 60 years. So it is a long-standing tradition, and it has been happening in our community for a really long time. And the other is that Packers players eat lunch at tables right inside of Lambeau Field with members of the community. Members of the community get to know them on a little bit more of a personal level. So take a look at this video we have from last year. It kind of gives you a sense of just what the luncheon is like inside of Lambeau Field. You can see all those people crowded inside the atrium. Players and coaches are randomly assigned to tables of 8 excited fans. The Green Bay Chamber hosts this luncheon, and typically about 1,000 or more people attend. And you know, this comes at a time when fans are super excited. Of course, the football season is kicking off, and everyone is revved up to see what the team can do under quarterback Jordan Love. There's another exciting thing that happens here at this luncheon later this morning as well, and that is the Community Service Award. It's a prestigious award, and one Packers player will be given that award. That same player will go on then to be nominated for another prestigious award, and that is the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award as well. Reporting live at Lambeau Field, Kristen Allen, Action 2 News.
Thanks, Kristen. First Alert weather every 7 minutes. Here's First Alert Viper Max. Most of the area is dry, but way north and way southwest there is some rain. Showers right now in northern Forest County, northern Florence County. I am keeping an eye on this rain that's heading over towards the Dells. If we use First Alert Viper Max's future scan going into the future, you can see those showers pushing their way into Marquette and Green Lake counties between now and about 10:30, 10:45. Slight chance of rain this morning, a mostly cloudy day, highs in the 70s and 80s, and then a chance of thunderstorms heading in this evening. A few could have some downpours and also some lightning. Tammy.
All right, Steve, still to come, a man on the prowl while a teenager hides in a closet. Look at this, what police in Seattle found the suspect doing in the home's garage.
And I'm Emily Roberts, live in Ashwaubenon, where art takes center stage later today. Everything you need to know before visiting Art Street at its new location.
From WBAY TV, Tammy Elliott, Aisha Morales, Catherine Bracho, and Steve Bailon. This is Action 2 News This Morning, your first alert station.
This? Okay. So this is what it is. I don't know, I'm watching this. What in the world? Look at that. Oh my gosh. That's insane. I don't know. Oh gosh. What in the world? Okay. Welcome back. We have dramatic footage from Seattle police body cameras. Look at this. is showing a home invasion suspect, and watch what he's doing here, appearing to guzzle gasoline. He's in the front seat there of that homeowner's car. And while this is happening, a 17-year-old is home alone and hid upstairs in a closet. Officers aren't sure why that 4-year-old suspect was acting this way.
All right, first alert weather. We've got Vipermax. Keeping an eye on some showers towards the upper Michigan border. We also have some showers towards the Dells. We were showing you just a couple minutes ago. Those are likely going to head into Marquette and Green Lake counties between now and the next hour. Otherwise, it's quiet for the time being. However, I am watching this cold front across Minnesota. Look right here near that boundary. Thunderstorms are starting to brew, and they're going to be moving to the east and southeast through the afternoon and into the evening. If you are traveling west out towards the Twin Cities, watch out for these big thunderstorms developing. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s there, closer to Milwaukee, mid-70s with clouds and perhaps some showers. Now, our chance of showers and thunderstorms will be increasing late this afternoon and early this evening, and that rain could coincide with high school football games. There may be some downpours, some lightning. So please download our WBAY First Alert weather app. That way you can get those lightning alerts delivered right to your phone. That way if you're at your favorite high school game, you can get off to safety in plenty of time. Otherwise, it's going to be a seasonably warm day with highs not too far from 80, but boy, you're really going to feel the humidity. Coming up in just 7 minutes, we'll give you our full forecast, including the forecast for the Operation Football Game of the Week. Back to you, Tammy.
All right, Steve, thank you. Still to come, he said, she said in Spain. The head of the country's soccer federation remaining defiant after an assault on the women's team's star player. Why he won't resign.
In this morning's GMA First Look, an alarming health advisory for Tough Mudder racers. More than 70 people falling ill after completing the course at Sonoma Raceway in Northern California last weekend.
12 of the 13 people that I went with got this.
Reports of rash, fever, muscle pain, nausea, and vomiting came flooding into the county health department 24 hours after people competed in the race.
When I looked at my skin, I noticed a lot of blisters and kind of bumps, basically anywhere that was exposed a lot to the mud and the soils.
Health officials say this could be a range of illnesses, from mild irritation to staph infections. So what do racers need to know to stay healthy in the future? It's all coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Kana Whitworth, ABC News.
Type 2 diabetes?
Discover the Ozempic Trizone. In my Ozempic Trizone, I lowered my A1C, CV risk, and lost some weight.
In studies, the majority of people reached an A1C under 7 and maintained it. Ozempic lowers the risk of major cardiovascular events, such as stroke, heart attack, or death, in adults also with known heart disease. And you may lose weight. Adults lost up to 14 pounds. Ozempic isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't share needles or pens or reuse needles. Don't take Ozempic if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or if allergic to it. Stop Ozempic and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Gallbladder problems may occur. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Ozempic with the sulfonylurea or insulin may increase low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
Join the millions already taking Ozempic. Ask your healthcare provider about the Ozempic Trizone.
First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Green Bay Metro. Download GBM on demand and ride with us today.
Hey, good Friday morning, everyone. I know you're thinking about the weekend, but I want to talk about something that could affect your commute on Monday. It's happening right near here. This is 41 at 125, which is, of course, College Avenue, right near the Fox River Mall. As far as conditions right now, things look good. You can see both directions on I-41. But on Monday, check this out. College Avenue is going to be closed just east of I-41 so that crews can work on a little bridge there over Mud Creek. So tiny you may not have even realized that was a bridge, but they need to work on that, and that work is expected to finish in November. So here is what the DOT is saying you should do in terms of a detour, especially if you're in a big truck. If you're heading northbound on 41, they want you to cross Little Lake Butamore, head over to Memorial Drive, and then up through town to College Avenue. That's for northbound I-41 traffic. Then if you're heading southbound on 41, you can exit at Northland, head over to Lyndale, and then head south to College. And on Monday morning, we'll show you what this looks like and if it's starting to slow things down.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Thanks, Catherine. First Alert headlines, the Kremlin is rejecting allegations it was behind the plane crash that likely killed mercenary leader Yevgeny Prigozhin. He led a brief mutiny in Russia 2 months ago. U.S. intelligence says the plane was brought down by an intentional explosion. The president of the Spanish Soccer Federation is refusing to resign after kissing a player on the lips without her consent. It happened during Spain's celebration of the Women's World Cup final victory. Luis Rubiales insists the kiss with Jenny Hermoso was mutual and with consent. She said she didn't like it. New this hour, President Joe Biden will observe Monday's 60th anniversary of the March on Washington by meeting with relatives of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. King delivered the famous I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial in 1963. The inaugural March on Washington is considered one of the most consequential racial justice demonstrations in American history. 1 year after a controversial move, Art Street is back in Ashwaubenon today, and Emily Roberts live at Ashwaubenon Park where those vendors are starting to get set up. Emily, what can people see?
Tammy, dozens of artists already out here setting up, and they're going to be joined by almost 100 more selling their work this weekend. Now, you've got to see this. There are so many people getting their work set up 5 hours before the event kicks off. Some amazing handcrafted pieces, but it's not just paintings. It's pottery, jewelry, woodwork, bringing some major creativity to the area. Art Street draws in around 40,000 people each year. That's a lot of people and a huge boost to the economy. The event brings in more than $3 million. We first reported when Art Street moved from downtown Green Bay to Ashwaubenon last year after 4 decades. A controversial decision, leaving artists skeptical of the turnout, but with more room to spread out. And you can start supporting local artists from 3 to 7 tonight. The event runs through Sunday, and based off of what I've seen so far, there are so many artists ready to share their masterpieces. In Ashwaubenon, Emily Roberts, Action 2 News.
Thanks, Emily. All right, First Alert weather every 7 minutes. We begin with our hourly pinpoint predictor forecast. Cloudy skies right now, some sun sneaking out of those clouds in the midday and the afternoon, and then kaboom, thunderstorms, especially early this evening. And the big concern in the First Alert Weather Center is that they may coincide with some high school football games later today. So we'll be watching that very closely. It's not going to be an overly hot day, seasonable with highs close to 80, but the humidity, it is definitely sticky outside. Our dew points hour by hour on Pinpoint Predictor in the mid to upper 60s. You have to think of this humidity as fuel for these thunderstorms, like gasoline. All you need is a match to set it off, and that is going to be our next weather maker. A cold front will be that match. A line of scattered thunderstorms comes in early tonight because of that incoming cold front. So our severe weather outlook this evening is in the low category. However, there might be a couple strong storms in spots. They may have some heavy downpours, wind gusts exceeding 40 miles an hour, and perhaps some small hail. So we're going to track this threat hour by hour with First Alert Pinpoint Predictor. There's the cold front right now back in central Minnesota. But between now and tonight, it slides in, and that's the boundary where the air collides to create these thunderstorms. Now, according to Pinpoint Predictor, most of the storms around 7:30 early in these high school football games will be north of Green Bay. But as the evening wears on, they sink farther south. 9 o'clock, they're stretched out from Anago over towards Marinette, over towards Sturgeon Bay. A chance in the Fox Valley, but really the valley's chance of storms increases towards the end of football games and closer to the midnight hour. And then behind the departing cold front, notice this cloud cover sweeping in from upper Michigan. That's a sign of some of the cooler, less humid air that's coming in just in time for the weekend. So here's our Operation Football Game of the Week forecast. Heads up, Kaukauna versus West Appear. They moved the game up to 5 o'clock as opposed to 7 to avoid that risk of thunderstorms. We'll see temperatures in the 70s. And then behind that front, there's that area of high pressure bringing in some cooler weather as we go into this upcoming weekend. So if you're going to the Packer game, the kickoff will be 68 degrees. It will be comfortable with highs this weekend getting into the low to mid 70s. 71 right now in Green Bay, dew point 65. We've got calm air, and here's the forecast for today. Early patchy fog fading away, partly sunny, cooler and less humid, a high of 82. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with a low of 61. And the First Alert 7-day forecast brings those highs down into the low to mid 70s this weekend with partly then mostly sunny skies.
First Alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Steve Baylon. Sponsored by Tundraland, home to bath remodeling and custom decks. Go now to tundraland.com.
Welcome back. NASA is inviting organizations to apply for their own moon tree. I know you're thinking, what in the world's a moon tree? Well, it's grown from seeds that flew around the moon, and they're ready to be planted here on Earth. Nearly 2,000 of these seeds were on last year's Artemis mission. They include sycamore, sweet gum, sequoia, and pine trees. And only organizations like schools, museums, science centers, and community groups can apply for a moon tree. That just sounds cool, Steve.
Yeah, it's just something you kind of brag to your friends about. Oh, I've got a moon tree. All right, so here's your First Alert 7-day forecast, or we can look at another tree. I don't think that's a moon tree, but maybe it is, Tammy. You would know. 82 today, warm but not overly hot, humid. We'll find temperatures cooling back into the low to mid 70s for the weekend. But as a cold front comes in to deliver that cooler air, we'll have some thunderstorms this evening. After that, we'll have a better chance of some showers and storms Monday into Monday night. And after that, highs will be mostly in the upper 60s. Back to you, Tammy.
All right, Steve, thank you. Big story we've been following still to come. Utility companies in Hawaii now being blamed for those deadly wildfires on Maui. What authorities there are claiming in court.
Gotcha. On your animation, on your Timberland animation. So this is to be our Christmas.